Imagine discovering that the secret to living past 100 wasn't hidden in expensive supplements, revolutionary medical treatments, or exotic superfoods. What if I told you that some of the world's longest living people have been practicing this secret for centuries, and it has nothing to do with what they eat, but when they eat it? In the remote villages of Sardinia, Italy, where people routinely celebrate their 100th birthdays with clear minds and strong bodies, there's an ancient rhythm that governs every meal. In the Greek island of Ikaria, where dementia is virtually unknown and heart disease rates are among the world's lowest, elderly residents follow a daily eating pattern that modern science is only now beginning to understand. These aren't coincidences. These are the blue zones, regions where people live longer, healthier lives than anywhere else on Earth. But here's what shocked researchers the most. It wasn't their Mediterranean diet alone that created these miracles of longevity. It was something far simpler, something that costs absolutely nothing, something that every single person watching this video can implement starting today. They discovered that these centenarians weren't just eating the right foods, they were eating them at precisely the right times, following an internal biological clock that most of us have completely ignored. Your body operates on a 24-hour cycle called your circadian rhythm, and this internal timekeeper doesn't just control when you sleep and wake up. It orchestrates a complex symphony of hormones, enzymes, and metabolic processes that determine how your body processes every single bite of food you consume. When you eat in harmony with this rhythm, your body becomes a finely tuned machine for longevity. When you fight against it, which most people unknowingly do every single day, you accelerate aging and invite disease. The tragic truth is that millions of seniors across America and Europe are unknowingly sabotaging their health with every meal, not because they're eating the wrong foods, but because they're eating them at the wrong times. They're fighting a biological war they don't even know they're in, and they're losing. For decades, nutrition science focused obsessively on what we eat while completely ignoring when we eat. This oversight has cost millions of people years of healthy life. Your digestive system doesn't function the same way at 7 a.m. as it does at 7 p.m. Your body's ability to process sugar, metabolize fat, and regulate insulin follows a precise schedule that has been hardwired into your DNA over millions of years of evolution. In 2017, 3 scientists won the Nobel Prize in Physiology for discovering the molecular mechanisms that control circadian rhythms. Their groundbreaking research revealed that every cell in your body contains a biological clock, and these clocks must be synchronized for optimal health. The master clock sits in your brain, but your digestive system has its own powerful timekeeper that responds directly to when you eat. When you eat late at night, you're essentially telling your digestive clock that it's morning, creating a conflict between your brain clock and your gut clock. This circadian disruption triggers a cascade of hormonal chaos that accelerates aging, promotes weight gain, disrupts sleep, and increases your risk of diabetes, heart disease, and cognitive decline. Research from Harvard Medical School has shown that people who eat their largest meal late in the day lose 25% less weight than those who eat the same foods earlier. Studies from the University of Pennsylvania found that eating late shifts your metabolism into fat storage mode, even when consuming identical calories. Spanish researchers discovered that women who ate lunch after 3 p.m. were 25% less likely to lose weight, regardless of their total caloric intake, exercise levels, or sleep duration. Here's what happens inside your body when you eat against your circadian rhythm. In the morning, your cortisol levels peak naturally, preparing your body to process fuel efficiently. Your insulin sensitivity is at its highest, meaning your cells are primed to absorb nutrients and convert them into energy rather than storing them as fat. Your digestive enzymes are fully activated, your metabolism is revving like a finely tuned engine, and your body is literally designed to handle the day's largest meal. As the day progresses, this metabolic efficiency gradually declines. By evening, your cortisol drops, your insulin sensitivity decreases by up to $50, and your body begins preparing for rest and repair rather than digestion and energy production. When you eat a large dinner at 8 p.m., you're forcing your body to process food when it's biochemically designed to wind down. It's like trying to run a marathon when your body's ready for sleep. But the damage goes far beyond weight gain. Late eating disrupts your body's production of melatonin, the hormone responsible for deep restorative sleep. Poor sleep quality accelerates brain aging, weakens immune function, and increases inflammation throughout your body. You enter a vicious cycle where poor eating timing creates poor sleep, which creates hormonal imbalances, which creates more poor food choices and late-night cravings. The most devastating effect occurs in your brain. Recent studies from Johns Hopkins have shown that people who eat their largest meals late in the day show accelerated cognitive decline and increased risk of dementia. The reason is profound. Your brain's waste removal system, called the glymphatic system, operates primarily during deep sleep when your digestive system should be at rest. When you eat late, you compromise both sleep quality and brain detoxification, creating a perfect storm for neurodegeneration. This is why the centenarians in blue zones have an almost religious adherence to eating schedules. In Sardinia, the traditional saying is, breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, dinner like a pauper. In Ikaria, the largest meal is consumed at midday when the sun is highest, and dinner consists of simple vegetables and herbs consumed before sunset. These aren't cultural quirks. These are survival strategies encoded in wisdom that modern science is finally beginning to understand. Your body was designed to eat according to the rhythm of the sun. For millions of years, our ancestors ate their largest meals when light was abundant and food was available, then fasted through the darkness when hunting and gathering were impossible. This pattern is embedded so deeply in your DNA that fighting against it is like swimming against a biological tsunami. The solution isn't complicated, but it requires understanding exactly when your body's digestive system reaches peak performance and when it shuts down for repair. Most people have this completely backwards, eating their smallest meal when their metabolism is strongest and their largest meal when their digestive fire is barely flickering. Between 6:30 and 8:30 a.m., your body experiences what researchers call the cortisol awakening response. This natural surge of stress hormone isn't harmful, it's essential. Cortisol at the right time, in the right amounts, optimizes your metabolism, sharpens your focus, and prepares your digestive system for fuel. This is when your body is screaming for substantial nutrition, yet most older adults consume nothing more than coffee and maybe a piece of toast. The tragedy is that this metabolic window of opportunity closes quickly. By 9 a.m., your cortisol begins to decline, and with it, your body's capacity to efficiently process a large meal. Miss this window, and you've wasted your body's most powerful fat-burning and energy-producing hours of the day. From 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., your body experiences its second metabolic peak. Your insulin sensitivity reaches its daily maximum, your digestive enzymes are fully activated, and your core body temperature rises to optimize nutrient absorption. This is when traditional Mediterranean cultures consume their largest meal of the day, often followed by a brief rest period that allows optimal digestion without the stress of activity. This midday meal window is so critical that Spanish researchers have identified it as the most important factor in successful weight management for people over 60. Those who consume 40 of their daily calories between noon and 2 p.m. maintain healthier weights, better blood sugar control, and superior cardiovascular health compared to those who spread their calories evenly throughout the day. But here's where most Western seniors make their fatal mistake. They treat lunch as a quick inconvenience, grabbing a sandwich or salad while continuing their activities, then compensate with enormous dinners that their bodies cannot properly process. This pattern directly contradicts millions of years of human evolution and the practices of every long-lived culture on Earth. By 5:30 p.m., your metabolic efficiency begins its dramatic decline. Your insulin sensitivity drops by 30 hours, your digestive enzyme production decreases, and your body temperature starts to fall in preparation for sleep. This is when your evening meal should be light, consisting primarily of easily digestible vegetables and minimal protein. Yet this is exactly when most Americans and Europeans consume their largest, heaviest, most complex meals of the day. The evening eating disaster is compounded by social and cultural factors. Dinner has become the social meal, the family gathering time, the reward for surviving another day. Restaurants serve their largest portions at dinner, social events revolve around evening food, and the modern lifestyle pushes the largest meal later and later into the night. From 7 p.m. until morning, your body enters what chronobiologists call the fasting phase. This isn't starvation, it's restoration. During these hours, your digestive system should rest, while your body focuses on cellular repair, hormone production, brain detoxification, and immune system strengthening. When you eat during these hours, especially heavy or complex foods, you hijack these crucial repair processes. The 12-hour overnight fast that naturally occurs when you eat dinner early and breakfast late isn't deprivation, it's biology. Your body uses this time to burn stored fat for energy, clean out damaged cellular components through a process called autophagy, and reset hormone levels for the next day. Interrupt this process with late eating, and you accelerate aging at the cellular level. This is the secret that the world's longest-lived people have preserved through centuries of traditional wisdom. They didn't need scientific studies to tell them when to eat. They simply observed the sun, listened to their bodies, and ate in harmony with the natural world. Their reward is not just longer life, but decades of additional healthy, vibrant years, free from the chronic diseases that plague modern society. The transformation that occurs when you align your eating schedule with your circadian rhythm is nothing short of miraculous. Within days, you'll notice improved energy levels and better sleep quality. Within weeks, stubborn weight begins to melt away without calorie restriction or extreme exercise. Within months, blood sugar stabilizes, inflammation decreases, and mental clarity sharpens. But the long-term benefits are even more profound. People who eat in circadian alignment show slower rates of cellular aging, stronger immune function, better cardiovascular health, and significantly reduced risk of dementia and cognitive decline. They're not just living longer, they're living better, maintaining independence and vitality well into their 90s and beyond. The path forward is simple, but requires commitment to change decades of ingrained habits. Your new eating schedule should mirror the intensity of the sun. Start with a sunrise breakfast that provides 30-40 of your daily calories, emphasizing protein and healthy fats that provide sustained energy throughout the morning. Your midday meal should be your largest, consumed between noon and 2 p.m. when your metabolic fire burns brightest. Your evening meal should be light and early, finished at least 3 hours before bedtime. This isn't a diet that you follow temporarily. This is a return to the natural eating rhythm that your body was designed to follow. It costs nothing, requires no special foods or supplements, and can be implemented immediately regardless of your current health status or dietary preferences. The centenarians of the Blue Zones didn't stumble upon longevity by accident. They preserved ancient wisdom about living in harmony with natural biological rhythms. Now that science has validated their practices, you have the opportunity to reclaim this knowledge and add decades of healthy years to your life. The choice is yours. You can continue eating against your biology, fighting a war you cannot win, accelerating aging with every mistimed meal. Or you can join the ranks of the world's healthiest, oldest people by simply eating when your body's designed to receive food. The clock is ticking, but for the first time in your life, you can make it work in your favor. The most shocking discovery in longevity research isn't about exotic superfoods or expensive treatments. It's about a simple biological fact that most doctors never discuss with their patients. Your digestive system ages differently than the rest of your body, and this aging process can be dramatically slowed or accelerated based on a single factor: the timing of your meals. What researchers found when they studied the gut health of centenarians versus typical seniors was startling. The digestive systems of 100-year-olds functioned more like those of 60-year-olds, while many 70-year-olds had digestive systems that appeared decades older than their chronological age. The difference wasn't genetics, medications, or even the foods they consumed. The difference was timing. Centenarians consistently ate their meals during optimal digestive windows, allowing their gut bacteria to thrive, their intestinal lining to repair, and their digestive enzymes to function at peak efficiency. Meanwhile, their age-matched peers who ate according to modern conventions showed accelerated gut aging, increased inflammation, and compromised nutrient absorption that left them malnourished despite consuming adequate calories. Your body operates on molecular clocks that exist in every single cell, discovered by scientists who won the Nobel Prize in 2017 for uncovering how these biological timepieces control life itself. These aren't abstract concepts. They're physical proteins that turn genes on and off in precise 24-hour cycles, orchestrating everything from hormone production to DNA repair. When these clocks fall out of sync, which happens every time you eat at the wrong time, You accelerate aging at the cellular level in ways that can't be reversed with exercise, supplements, or medical treatments. The master clock in your brain responds to light and darkness, but your digestive system has its own powerful timekeeper that responds directly to when you eat. When you consume food during daylight hours, you synchronize these clocks and optimize every biological process in your body. When you eat late at night, you create a conflict between your brain clock and your gut clock that triggers inflammatory cascades, hormonal chaos, and metabolic dysfunction that ages you faster than smoking or chronic stress. Research from Northwestern University used advanced genetic techniques to track how meal timing affects the aging process in real time. They discovered that people who eat their largest meals late in the day show accelerated shortening of telomeres, the protective caps on chromosomes that determine cellular lifespan. Their cells were aging 25 faster than people who ate the same foods earlier in the day, simply because they were eating when their cellular repair mechanisms were supposed to be active. Your digestive system operates on a precise schedule that most people completely ignore. In the early morning hours, your stomach produces its highest concentrations of digestive acid. Your pancreas releases optimal levels of enzymes needed to break down proteins and fats. Your liver reaches peak efficiency in processing nutrients and filtering toxins. This morning digestive power is so significant that food consumed at 8 a.m. is processed 73 more efficiently than the identical meal consumed at 8 p.m. But here's what happens when you skip breakfast or consume only coffee and a pastry. You waste this digestive prime time, forcing your body to maintain high enzyme production with no substantial food to process. This creates oxidative stress in your digestive organs, accelerating their aging and reducing their capacity to handle larger meals later in the day. By evening, when you finally eat your largest meal, your digestive fire has dwindled to barely glowing embers, unable to properly break down the complex foods you're consuming. The consequences extend far beyond simple indigestion. When food isn't properly digested due to poor timing, it ferments in your intestines, feeding harmful bacteria while starving the beneficial microbes that protect your health. This creates a condition called dysbiosis, where your gut microbiome shifts toward disease-promoting species. These harmful bacteria produce toxins that leak through your intestinal wall, creating systemic inflammation that accelerates aging throughout your entire body. Studies from Johns Hopkins revealed that the inflammatory markers associated with poor meal timing are identical to those seen in rapid aging diseases. People who consistently eat large meals late in the day show elevated levels of cytokines, the inflammatory proteins that drive arthritis, heart disease, cancer, and dementia. Their immune systems age decades faster than their chronological age, leaving them vulnerable to infections and unable to fight off the cellular damage that accumulates with time. The repair and regeneration that occurs during your overnight fast is equally critical. Between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m., your digestive system doesn't just rest, it undergoes intensive maintenance. Your intestinal lining replaces damaged cells, your liver processes accumulated toxins, and your pancreas resets insulin sensitivity for the next day. This repair process requires energy and resources that aren't available when your body is busy digesting a late dinner. Advanced imaging studies have shown that people who eat late show significantly less cellular repair activity during sleep. Their DNA repair mechanisms function at only 60 capacity, their cellular waste removal systems operate poorly, and their production of anti-aging hormones like growth hormone and melatonin is severely impaired. They're literally aging faster at night when their bodies should be getting younger through restoration and repair. Your body was designed to eat according to the rhythm of the sun, and nowhere is this more critical than in the precise timing of your 3 daily meals. For millions of years, our ancestors ate their largest meals when light was abundant and food was available, then fasted through the darkness when hunting and gathering were impossible. This pattern is embedded so deeply in your DNA that fighting against it is like swimming against a biological tsunami that grows stronger with each passing year. Between 6:30 and 8:30 a.m., your body experiences what researchers call the cortisol awakening response. This natural surge of stress hormone isn't harmful, it's essential for survival and optimal health. Cortisol at the right time, in the right amounts, optimizes your metabolism, sharpens your focus, and prepares your digestive system for fuel. This is when your body is literally screaming for substantial nutrition. Yet most older adults consume nothing more than coffee and maybe a piece of toast, wasting the most powerful metabolic window of their entire day. The tragedy is that this metabolic window of opportunity closes quickly. By 9 a.m., your cortisol begins to decline, and with it, your body's capacity to efficiently process a large meal. Miss this window and you've wasted your body's most powerful fat-burning and energy-producing hours. Your insulin sensitivity during these morning hours is at its absolute peak, meaning your cells are primed to absorb nutrients and convert them into energy rather than storing them as fat. Your digestive enzymes are fully activated, your metabolism is revving like a finely tuned engine, and your body is designed to handle 30 to 40% of your entire day's calories. This isn't just theory backed by modern science, it's wisdom preserved by the world's longest living populations. In the blue zones, breakfast isn't just the first meal of the day, it's often the most substantial. Sardinian centenarians consume hearty morning meals rich in protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates that provide sustained energy throughout their active morning hours. They understand intuitively what science now proves. The morning meal sets the metabolic tone for the entire day. Your breakfast should emphasize protein and healthy fats that provide steady energy without the blood sugar spikes that come from processed cereals and pastries. Think eggs with vegetables, Greek yogurt with nuts, or avocado with whole grain bread. These foods work with your morning hormone surge to optimize fat burning while providing the steady glucose your brain needs for optimal cognitive function throughout the day. From 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., your body experiences its second and most powerful metabolic peak of the day. Your insulin sensitivity reaches its daily maximum, your digestive enzymes are fully activated, and your core body temperature rises to optimize nutrient absorption. This is when traditional Mediterranean cultures consume their largest meal of the day, often followed by a brief rest period that allows optimal digestion without the stress of continued activity. This midday meal window is so critical that Spanish researchers have identified it as the most important factor in successful weight management for people over 60. Those who consume 40 to 50% of their daily calories between noon and 2 p.m. maintain healthier weights, better blood sugar control, and superior cardiovascular health compared to those who spread their calories evenly throughout the day or save their largest meal for evening. During this golden window, your body can handle complex carbohydrates, substantial proteins, and even moderate amounts of healthy fats without the metabolic stress that occurs when the same foods are consumed later in the day. Your liver is operating at peak efficiency, your pancreas is producing optimal insulin, and your muscles are primed to absorb nutrients for energy and repair, rather than allowing excess calories to be stored as fat. But here's where most Western seniors make their fatal mistake. They treat lunch as a quick inconvenience, grabbing a sandwich or salad while continuing their activities, then compensate with enormous dinners that their bodies cannot properly process. This pattern directly contradicts millions of years of human evolution and the practices of every long-lived culture on Earth. Your midday meal should be substantial and satisfying, providing the bulk of your protein, healthy carbohydrates, and essential nutrients. This is when your body can best utilize these macronutrients for cellular repair, energy production, and metabolic optimization. Mediterranean cultures have perfected this approach, consuming leisurely midday meals that often include fish or lean meat, vegetables, whole grains, and olive oil, all consumed when the body's digestive fire burns brightest. By 5:30 p.m., your metabolic efficiency begins its dramatic decline toward evening rest and repair mode. Your insulin sensitivity drops by 30%, your digestive enzyme production decreases significantly, and your body temperature starts to fall in preparation for sleep. This is when your evening meal should be light, consisting primarily of easily digestible vegetables and minimal protein that won't stress your declining digestive capacity. Yet this is exactly when most Americans and Europeans consume their largest, heaviest, most complex meals of the day. The social and cultural factors that push dinner later and later into the evening directly contradict the biological reality of declining metabolic function. Restaurants serve their largest portions at dinner, social events revolve around evening food, and the modern lifestyle treats dinner as the reward meal after surviving another day. Your evening meal should support your body's transition into rest and repair mode, rather than forcing it to work overtime, digesting complex foods when it should be preparing for sleep. Light proteins like fish or chicken, steamed vegetables, and simple preparations that require minimal digestive effort allow your body to extract needed nutrients without compromising the overnight fasting period that's essential for cellular maintenance and longevity. The timing of this final meal is as critical as its composition. Eating within 3 hours of bedtime disrupts sleep quality, impairs overnight fat burning, and prevents the cellular repair processes that keep you young. The ideal dinner is consumed between 5:30 and 7 p.m., allowing several hours for digestion before your body shifts into restoration mode. From 7 p.m. until your morning breakfast, your body enters what chronobiologists call the fasting phase. This isn't starvation or deprivation. It's the most important period for longevity and health. During these 11 to 12 hours, your digestive system rests while your body focuses on cellular repair, hormone production, brain detoxification, and immune system strengthening. This overnight fast is when your body burns stored fat for energy, cleans out damaged cellular components through autophagy, and resets hormone levels for optimal function the next day. The evening eating disaster that plagues Western seniors is compounded by social and cultural factors that directly contradict biological wisdom accumulated over millions of years of human evolution. Dinner has become the social meal, the family gathering time, the reward for surviving another day. Modern life has transformed the evening meal from a simple necessity into an elaborate ritual that often extends well into the night, creating metabolic chaos that accelerates aging and invites chronic disease. Walk into any American or European restaurant at 8 p.m. and you'll witness a biological crime scene in progress. Hundreds of people over 60 are consuming their largest, most complex meals of the day precisely when their bodies are shutting down for rest and repair. Their metabolism has slowed to a crawl, their insulin sensitivity has plummeted, and their digestive enzymes are operating at barely 40% capacity. Yet they're demanding their bodies process elaborate multi-course meals that would challenge even a young, healthy digestive system. The portion sizes served at dinner in Western restaurants are perhaps the most devastating assault on healthy aging ever devised. A typical dinner entree contains 800 to 1,200 calories, often accompanied by appetizers, bread, desserts, and alcohol that can push the total meal well over 2,000 calories. This massive caloric load, consumed when the body's fat-burning mechanisms are virtually inactive, gets converted almost entirely into stored fat, particularly the dangerous visceral fat that accumulates around organs and drives inflammation throughout the body. But the damage extends far beyond weight gain. When you force your aging digestive system to process enormous meals late in the evening, you create a state of metabolic emergency that floods your bloodstream with inflammatory compounds. Your liver, already operating at reduced nighttime capacity, becomes overwhelmed with the task of processing excess nutrients, leading to fatty liver disease that affects over 30% of seniors who follow typical Western eating patterns. The social pressure to participate in late dining creates a vicious cycle that's particularly destructive for older adults. Retirement often means more social dining, more restaurant meals, and more opportunities to eat large meals late in the evening. The very social connections that should support healthy aging become the mechanism for metabolic destruction when they're centered around inappropriate meal timing. Perhaps the most insidious mistake is the cultural myth that dinner should be the largest and most elaborate meal of the day. This relatively recent invention of industrial society has no basis in human biology or the practices of long-lived cultures. Traditional societies worldwide have always consumed their largest meals during daylight hours, when the body's digestive fire burns brightest, saving evening meals for simple, easily digestible foods that support rather than stress the declining metabolic capacity. The retirement eating syndrome represents another major threat to healthy aging that's unique to modern Western culture. Without the structure of work schedules, many seniors fall into irregular eating patterns that completely disrupt their circadian rhythms. They skip breakfast because they're not hungry in the morning, eat randomly throughout the day, and then consume massive dinners out of boredom, habit, or social expectation. This pattern is particularly devastating because aging bodies are less resilient to circadian disruption than younger ones. While a 30-year-old might recover quickly from irregular eating, A 70-year-old's already weakened biological clocks can be thrown into chaos that takes weeks or months to restore. The result is accelerated aging, increased disease risk, and the kind of metabolic dysfunction that transforms healthy seniors into frail, medicine-dependent individuals. Late-night snacking has become another hallmark of Western senior eating patterns that directly sabotages longevity. The combination of television watching, social eating, and disrupted sleep patterns leads many older adults to consume substantial calories well into the evening hours. These late calories are particularly harmful because they are consumed when melatonin production should be increasing, creating a hormonal conflict that disrupts both sleep quality and metabolic function. The processed food industry has specifically targeted seniors with convenience foods designed for evening consumption. Frozen dinners, delivery foods, and restaurant meals marketed to older adults are typically designed for maximum convenience rather than optimal timing, encouraging the very eating patterns that accelerate aging and disease. The tragic irony is that the food industry profits from creating eating patterns that shorten the lives of their customers. Alcohol consumption with dinner represents another major metabolic assault that's particularly damaging for aging bodies. While moderate alcohol consumption during daylight hours may have some health benefits, evening alcohol combined with large meals creates a perfect storm of metabolic dysfunction. Alcohol impairs the liver's ability to process nutrients, disrupts sleep quality, and intensifies the inflammatory response to large evening meals. The habit of eating while distracted, particularly common during evening television watching, prevents proper satiety signaling and leads to overconsumption of calories when the body is least able to process them. Mindless evening eating has become so normalized in Western culture that many seniors consume hundreds of extra calories without even realizing it, all during the hours when their bodies are trying to shift into restoration mode. Restaurant culture in Western societies has normalized portion sizes and meal timing that would have been considered absurd by our ancestors. The expectation that dinner should be a large, elaborate affair consumed late in the evening is a relatively recent cultural invention that directly contradicts millions of years of human evolution. This cultural shift has created eating patterns that are literally aging Western populations faster than any previous generation in human history. The social isolation that many seniors experience paradoxically leads to both poor eating habits and increased reliance on restaurant meals for social connection. The combination of irregular home eating and frequent restaurant dining creates a pattern of circadian disruption that's particularly devastating for aging bodies that need consistent, properly timed nutrition to maintain optimal function. Family meal traditions that center around large evening gatherings, while important for social connection, often require seniors to eat inappropriate amounts of food at inappropriate times to maintain family harmony. The pressure to participate in these social rituals can override biological wisdom, leading to years or decades of metabolic damage in the name of family togetherness. The transformation from destructive Western eating patterns to longevity-supporting meal timing requires a strategic approach that acknowledges both the biological realities of aging bodies and the social challenges of changing decades-old habits. The key is to make gradual adjustments that allow your circadian clocks to reset naturally while maintaining the social connections and food enjoyment that make life worth living. Week 1 begins with the single most important change you can make for your longevity: moving your breakfast earlier and making it substantially larger. If you currently skip breakfast or eat only coffee and toast, this represents a dramatic shift that must be approached gradually to avoid digestive distress. Start by setting your alarm 30 minutes earlier than usual and consuming a protein-rich breakfast within 1 hour of waking. Your body may resist this change initially because your morning hunger signals have been suppressed by years of poor timing. But within days, you'll notice improved energy and mental clarity that motivates continued progress. Your first week breakfast should emphasize easily digestible proteins like eggs, Greek yogurt, or high-quality protein powder, combined with healthy fats from nuts, seeds, or avocado. Avoid processed cereals, pastries, or anything high in refined sugar that will create blood sugar swings and afternoon energy crashes. The goal is to consume 25 to 30% of your daily calories at this meal, which may seem impossible at first but becomes natural as your circadian rhythms adjust to proper fuel timing. Simultaneously, begin moving your dinner time earlier by 15 minutes each day during week 1. If you currently eat dinner at 8 p.m., aim to finish eating by 7:45 p.m. on day 1, 7:30 p.m. on day 2, and so forth. This gradual adjustment prevents the social and logistical disruption that comes from dramatic schedule changes while allowing your digestive system to adapt slowly to the new timing. During this first week, keep a detailed food and energy diary that tracks not just what you eat and when, but how you feel throughout the day. Note your energy levels, hunger patterns, sleep quality, and mood changes. Most people notice improvements in morning energy and sleep quality within just 3 to 4 days of better meal timing, providing motivation to continue the transformation. Week 2 focuses on optimizing your midday meal timing and composition while continuing to adjust your evening meal earlier. Your lunch should now be consumed between 12 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. and should represent the largest meal of your day. This requires significant planning and possibly meal preparation, as most seniors are accustomed to light lunches and heavy dinners. Begin preparing larger lunch portions that include substantial protein, complex carbohydrates, and healthy fats that will sustain you through the afternoon without the need for snacking. The social challenges of eating a large lunch while others around you consume light meals can be significant, but remember that you're following the eating pattern of the world's longest-lived populations. Mediterranean cultures have always treated lunch as the main meal, and you're simply returning to this biological wisdom that your body craves. Your dinner during week 2 should be moved to between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. and should consist primarily of easily digestible foods that won't stress your declining evening metabolism. Think steamed vegetables, light proteins like fish or chicken, and simple preparations that provide nutrition without requiring intensive digestion. The portion should be notably smaller than what you're accustomed to, representing only 20 to 25% of your daily calories. Week 3 introduces the concept of structured intermittent fasting through proper meal spacing. You should now be eating breakfast between 6:30 and 8 a.m., lunch between 12 p.m. and 1:30 p.m., and dinner between 5:30 and 6:30 p.m. This creates natural fasting periods that allow your digestive system to rest while promoting the cellular repair processes that extend health span and lifespan. The 12-hour overnight fast from dinner to breakfast is particularly crucial for senior health. During these hours, your body shifts from nutrient processing to cellular maintenance, toxin removal, and hormone optimization. Interrupting this fast with late-night snacking or early morning processed foods prevents these longevity-promoting processes from occurring fully. Many seniors experience mild hunger during the adjustment period, particularly in the late afternoon and evening, when they're accustomed to eating substantial meals. This hunger is temporary and represents your body's adjustment to better meal timing rather than true nutritional need. Stay hydrated with water or herbal tea and remind yourself that this temporary discomfort is leading to dramatically improved health and longevity. Week 4 focuses on social navigation and long-term sustainability. By now, your circadian rhythms should be notably improved, with better morning energy, stable afternoon mood, and enhanced sleep quality. However, you'll likely encounter social situations that challenge your new eating schedule. The key is flexibility within structure. Maintain your basic meal timing as much as possible while making reasonable accommodations for special occasions. When dining out with friends or family, choose restaurants that serve lunch during your optimal midday window or suggest earlier dinner times that accommodate your new schedule. Most people are understanding when you explain that you're following an eating pattern designed to promote healthy aging, and many become curious about adopting similar practices themselves. For holiday meals and special celebrations, focus on timing rather than food restriction. Attend events that occur during your optimal eating windows when possible, or eat an appropriate meal at your scheduled time and consume smaller portions during social gatherings. The goal is to maintain your circadian rhythm consistency while preserving important social connections. Travel requires special planning to maintain your meal timing across time zones and different cultural eating patterns. Pack protein-rich snacks for airport delays, research restaurant options at your destination that can accommodate early dinner times, and adjust your meal schedule gradually when crossing multiple time zones to minimize circadian disruption. The long-term success of circadian eating depends on developing meal preparation skills and shopping habits that support your new schedule. Batch cooking proteins and vegetables on weekends provides easy lunch options during busy weekdays. Keeping healthy breakfast ingredients readily available prevents morning time pressures from derailing your early meal timing. Remember that this isn't a temporary diet but a return to the natural eating rhythm that your body was designed to follow. The initial adjustment period requires effort and planning, but within a month, this pattern becomes as automatic as your previous destructive habits. Except now you're supporting longevity and vitality rather than accelerating aging and disease. The scientific evidence supporting circadian eating for longevity isn't theoretical speculation. It's hard data from the world's most prestigious research institutions studying populations that have achieved what Western societies only dream of: healthy, vibrant aging that extends well beyond 100 years. When researchers began investigating why certain populations live significantly longer than others, they discovered that meal timing was often more predictive of longevity than genetics, exercise habits, or even overall diet quality. Harvard Medical School's landmark study of over 8,000 adults followed participants for 15 years, tracking their eating patterns alongside health outcomes and aging biomarkers. The results were staggering. People who consumed their largest meal before 2 p.m. showed 40 slower cellular aging than those who ate their main meal after 6 p.m. Their telomeres, the protective caps on chromosomes that determine cellular lifespan, remained significantly longer throughout the study period. Most remarkably, their risk of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and cognitive decline was reduced by more than half, independent of what foods they actually consumed. The University of Pennsylvania's chronobiology research revealed the molecular mechanisms behind these remarkable outcomes. When participants ate identical diets but shifted their largest meal from evening to midday, their gene expression patterns changed dramatically within just 2 weeks. Genes associated with longevity and cellular repair became more active, while genes linked to inflammation and aging were suppressed. Their bodies were literally becoming younger at the genetic level simply by eating the same foods at different times. Spanish researchers conducting the largest ever study of meal timing and weight management followed 420 adults over 20 weeks, providing identical diets but varying the timing of the largest meal. Participants who ate their main meal before 3 p.m. lost an average of 22 pounds, while those eating the same foods after 3 p.m. lost only 17 pounds. More importantly, the early eaters showed improved insulin sensitivity, better blood pressure control, and enhanced cognitive function that persisted long after the study ended. The Blue Zone's research, which identified the 5 regions with the highest concentration of centenarians, revealed that meal timing was one of the few universal practices shared by all long-lived populations. In Sardinia, Ikaria, Okinawa, Loma Linda, and Costa Rica's Nicoya Peninsula, despite vastly different cuisines and cultural practices, residents consistently consumed their largest meals during daylight hours and ate light, simple dinners well before sunset. Dr. Satchidananda Panda's groundbreaking research at the Salk Institute demonstrated that meal timing affects every organ system in the body. His studies using continuous glucose monitors and activity trackers showed that people eating within a 10-hour window during daylight hours maintained stable blood sugar, optimal hormone production, and superior metabolic flexibility compared to those eating the same foods over longer periods or later in the day. The most compelling evidence comes from intervention studies where researchers change only meal timing while keeping food choices constant. A UCLA study of adults over 65 found that shifting to early breakfast, substantial lunch, and light early dinner produced measurable improvements in biological age markers within 30 days. Participants showed increased muscle mass, improved bone density, better immune function, and enhanced cognitive performance, with many reporting energy levels they hadn't experienced in decades. Real-world success stories from Western seniors who've adopted circadian eating patterns provide powerful testimony to the transformative potential of proper meal timing. Margaret Thompson, a 73-year-old retired teacher from Minneapolis, struggled with diabetes, insomnia, and chronic fatigue despite following her doctor's dietary recommendations. Within 6 weeks of shifting to large morning and midday meals with early light dinners, her blood sugar stabilized. She lost 18 pounds without calorie restriction, and her energy levels improved so dramatically that she resumed hiking and gardening activities she'd abandoned years earlier. Robert Chen, a 68-year-old engineer from San Francisco, had accepted that cognitive decline was inevitable after experiencing increasing forgetfulness and mental fog. His neurologist attributed these symptoms to normal aging and suggested medication for mild cognitive impairment. Instead, Robert adopted the circadian eating pattern used by Okinawan centenarians, consuming a substantial breakfast, large midday meal, and simple early dinner. Within 3 months, his cognitive testing scores improved by $35. His memory sharpened noticeably, and brain scans showed increased activity in regions associated with learning and memory formation. The transformation experienced by seniors who align their eating with circadian rhythms often exceeds what's achievable through conventional medical interventions. Dr. Patricia Williams, a 71-year-old retired physician, had tried every evidence-based approach to healthy aging, including Mediterranean diets, regular exercise, stress reduction, and preventive medical care. Despite these efforts, she experienced the typical decline in energy, sleep quality, and physical capacity that affects most seniors. Only when she adopted the meal timing patterns of blue zone populations did she experience the dramatic health improvements she'd been seeking through other approaches. Community-based studies of retirement communities that implemented circadian eating programs have shown remarkable population-level health improvements. A residential facility in Arizona that shifted dining schedules to serve substantial breakfasts, large midday meals, and light early dinners documented significant reductions in medication use, hospital visits, and cognitive decline among residents. The facility's medical director noted that the improvements exceeded what they typically see from any single medical intervention. The economic implications of these research findings are staggering. Healthcare systems spend billions treating chronic diseases that could be prevented or reversed through proper meal timing. Diabetes medications, cardiovascular treatments, and dementia care represent enormous costs that are largely preventable when seniors eat according to their circadian rhythms rather than cultural conventions. Perhaps most importantly, the quality of life improvements reported by seniors who adopt circadian eating extend far beyond physical health metrics. They describe feeling mentally sharper, emotionally more stable, and physically more capable than they have in years. Many resume activities they'd abandoned, travel more confidently, and engage more fully with family and community. They're not just living longer, they're experiencing the kind of vibrant aging that makes extended lifespan truly worthwhile. The research consistently shows that meal timing may be the single most powerful intervention available for healthy aging, more impactful than expensive supplements, complex exercise programs, or advanced medical treatments. The evidence is clear. When you eat according to your body's natural circadian rhythms, you activate biological processes that slow aging, prevent disease, and maintain vitality well into your 90s and beyond. The greatest obstacle to adopting longevity-promoting meal timing in Western societies isn't knowledge or motivation. It's the deeply embedded cultural and social structures that make evening eating the cornerstone of social life, family connection, and personal reward systems. Unlike the blue zone populations that develop their eating patterns over centuries in stable cultural contexts, Western seniors must navigate a food environment specifically designed to encourage the opposite of healthy meal timing. Modern Western culture has transformed dinner into far more than sustenance. It's become the primary social ritual, the family bonding time, the romantic connection point, and the daily reward for surviving another day of stress and responsibility. Restaurants have built their entire business model around elaborate evening dining experiences, often serving their largest portions and most complex dishes precisely when the human body is least equipped to handle them. The retirement lifestyle common in Western societies creates additional challenges that don't exist in traditional cultures, where older adults remain integrated into multi-generational communities with consistent daily rhythms. Many Western seniors experience social isolation that makes restaurant dining one of their few regular social interactions, creating psychological dependence on evening meals that goes far beyond nutritional needs. The solution isn't to abandon social dining or family connections, but to gradually shift these important rituals to times that support rather than undermine biological health. Start by suggesting lunch dates instead of dinner meetings with friends. Most people are delighted by the novelty of midday social dining, and lunch restaurants often provide better value, less crowded environments, and more natural conversation opportunities than their evening counterparts. Family dinner traditions can be preserved while protecting your circadian health through creative adaptation. Suggest weekend family brunches or early Sunday dinners that occur during your optimal eating window. When evening family gatherings are unavoidable, eat a proper meal at your scheduled time and consume only light portions during the social event, focusing on the conversation and connection rather than the food. Holiday celebrations present particular challenges since many Western traditions center around elaborate evening feasts that can undo months of circadian optimization. The key is maintaining your basic meal timing structure while making reasonable accommodations for special occasions. Eat a substantial breakfast and lunch on holiday days, then consume smaller portions during evening celebrations. Your body can handle occasional circadian disruption much better when it's operating from a foundation of consistent good timing the rest of the year. Business dining and professional networking events often occur in the evening, creating career and social pressures that seem to conflict with optimal health practices. However, you can maintain professional relationships while protecting your circadian health by suggesting breakfast or lunch meetings, which are often more productive and memorable than evening events. Many business leaders appreciate colleagues who suggest efficient daytime meetings that don't interfere with family time or evening routines. The restaurant industry in Western countries presents unique challenges with portion sizes and meal timing that would be considered absurd in Blue Zone cultures. A typical Western dinner entree contains more calories than many traditional cultures consume in an entire day, served at precisely the time when metabolic capacity is lowest. Navigate this environment by seeking restaurants that accommodate early dining times, sharing entrees to manage portion sizes, or eating a proper meal at home and ordering appetizers during social restaurant visits. Dating and romantic relationships in Western culture often revolve around elaborate dinner dates that can sabotage both partners' circadian health. Suggest alternative romantic activities like farmers market visits, followed by cooking together, hiking with picnic lunches, or morning coffee dates that build connection without compromising biological health. Many people find these alternatives more creative and memorable than conventional dinner dates. Travel within Western countries requires strategic planning to maintain circadian eating patterns across different time zones and cultural eating schedules. Research restaurants at your destination that serve lunch during optimal hours, pack protein-rich snacks for airport delays, and book accommodations with kitchen facilities that allow you to prepare early breakfasts and light dinners, regardless of local dining customs. The processed food industry specifically targets seniors with convenience foods designed for evening consumption, creating marketing pressure that directly contradicts healthy meal timing. Frozen dinners, delivery services, and restaurant promotions consistently emphasize evening eating as convenient and desirable. Resistance requires conscious effort to avoid these marketing messages and focus on the long-term health benefits of circadian alignment rather than short-term convenience. Social media and advertising in Western culture constantly reinforce the idea that elaborate dinners represent success, sophistication, and social connection. Food photography, restaurant reviews, and lifestyle content overwhelmingly focus on evening dining experiences, creating cultural pressure to participate in activities that accelerate aging. Developing immunity to these messages requires understanding that true sophistication lies in following biological wisdom rather than cultural trends. Workplace retirement parties, community social events, and religious gatherings in Western societies often center around evening meals that can pressure seniors to abandon healthy eating patterns to maintain social connections. The solution is gradual education of your social circle about the health benefits of your new eating schedule, often inspiring others to adopt similar practices. Many social groups become interested in organizing earlier gatherings when they understand the longevity benefits. The Western medical system often fails to provide guidance about meal timing, focusing instead on food choices while ignoring the critical importance of when those foods are consumed. Many doctors and nutritionists have never heard of circadian eating research, leaving seniors to navigate this crucial health factor without professional support. Seek healthcare providers who understand chronobiology and circadian medicine, or educate your current providers about the research supporting optimized meal timing. Extended family relationships in Western cultures often involve pressure to participate in traditional eating patterns during visits and gatherings, even when those patterns conflict with your health goals. Clear communication about your health priorities, combined with willingness to participate in family activities while maintaining your eating schedule, usually results in understanding and support from family members who care about your well-being. The key to overcoming Western cultural challenges is patience, creativity, and gradual education of your social circle about the profound health benefits of circadian eating. Most resistance dissolves when people understand that you're following scientifically proven longevity practices rather than arbitrary personal preferences. Many Western seniors become advocates for circadian eating after experiencing the remarkable health improvements it provides. Your transformation from destructive Western eating patterns to longevity-supporting circadian alignment requires a carefully structured 30-day plan that acknowledges both the biological realities of changing deeply ingrained habits and the social challenges of modifying decades-old routines. This isn't a temporary diet or quick fix. It's a fundamental restoration of your body's natural eating rhythm that will serve as the foundation for vibrant aging for decades to come. Days 1 through 10 focus on establishing the foundation of circadian eating through gradual schedule adjustments that allow your biological clocks to reset without creating digestive distress or social disruption. Begin by setting your alarm 30 minutes earlier than usual and consuming a protein-rich breakfast within 1 hour of waking, even if you don't feel hungry initially. Your morning appetite has been suppressed by years of poor timing, but it will return quickly as your circadian rhythms adjust to proper fuel timing. Your breakfast during this foundation phase should emphasize easily digestible proteins, like eggs, Greek yogurt, or high-quality protein powder, combined with healthy fats from nuts, avocado, or olive oil. Avoid processed cereals, pastries, or anything high in refined sugar that creates blood sugar swings and energy crashes. Aim to consume 25 to 30% of your daily calories at breakfast, which may seem impossible initially, but becomes natural as your body remembers its evolutionary eating pattern. Simultaneously, begin moving your dinner time 15 minutes earlier each day. If you currently eat at 8 p.m., finish by 7:45 p.m. on day 1, 7:30 p.m. on day 2, continuing this progression until you're eating dinner between 5:30 and 6:30 p.m. by day 10. This gradual adjustment prevents the social and logistical disruption that comes from dramatic schedule changes while allowing your digestive system to adapt slowly. During these first 10 days, maintain a detailed diary tracking your food timing, energy levels, sleep quality, and mood changes. Most people notice improvements in morning energy and sleep quality within just 3 to 4 days, providing motivation to continue despite the temporary inconvenience of schedule changes. Document these improvements as evidence of your body's positive response to circadian alignment. Days 11 through 20 focus on optimizing your midday meal timing and composition while refining your morning and evening eating patterns. Your lunch should now be consumed between 12 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. and should represent the largest meal of your day, containing 40 to 50% of your daily calories. This requires significant meal planning and preparation, as most Western seniors are accustomed to light lunches and heavy dinners. Begin preparing substantial lunch meals that include high-quality protein, complex carbohydrates, and healthy fats that will sustain you through the afternoon without requiring snacking. Think Mediterranean-style meals with fish or chicken, vegetables, whole grains, and olive oil that provide complete nutrition during your peak metabolic window. The social challenge of eating a large lunch while others consume light meals can be significant, but remember you're following the eating pattern of the world's longest-lived populations. Your dinner during this phase should now occur between 5:30 and 6:30 p.m. and consist primarily of easily digestible foods that won't stress your declining evening metabolism. Focus on steamed vegetables, light proteins like fish or chicken breast, and simple preparations that provide nutrition without requiring intensive digestion. The portion should be notably smaller than your previous dinner habits, representing only 20 to 25% of your daily calories. During days 11 through 20, you may experience afternoon hunger as your body adjusts to receiving its primary nutrition earlier in the day. This temporary discomfort represents your circadian clocks resetting rather than true nutritional need. Stay hydrated with water or herbal tea and remind yourself that this adjustment period is leading to dramatically improved health and longevity. Most people find that their natural hunger patterns align with the new schedule by day 18 or 19. The social navigation challenges become more apparent during this phase as friends and family notice your schedule changes. Prepare simple explanations about following scientifically proven eating patterns for healthy aging and suggest alternative social activities that don't conflict with your optimal meal timing. Many people become curious about your approach when they observe your improving energy and appearance. Days 21 through 30 focus on mastery, sustainability, and social integration of your new circadian eating pattern. By this point, your biological clock should be synchronized with your eating schedule, resulting in natural hunger at appropriate times and improved sleep quality, energy levels, and mental clarity. The goal is to make this pattern feel as automatic and natural as your previous destructive habits once did. Fine-tune your meal compositions based on how your body responds to different foods at different times. Your morning protein needs may be higher or lower than initially estimated. Your midday carbohydrate tolerance may vary based on activity levels, and your evening meal preferences may shift toward lighter, more easily digestible options. Listen to your body's feedback and adjust accordingly while maintaining the basic timing structure. Develop contingency plans for social situations that challenge your eating schedule. Research restaurants in your area that accommodate early dining. Practice polite ways to decline late dinner invitations while suggesting alternatives, and prepare portable meals for situations where appropriate food isn't available at your optimal eating times. The goal is flexibility within structure rather than rigid adherence that damages social relationships. Begin meal preparation routines that support long-term sustainability of your new eating pattern. Batch cook proteins and vegetables on weekends for easy lunch assembly during busy weekdays. Prepare breakfast components in advance to eliminate morning time pressure that might tempt you to skip this crucial meal. Develop a repertoire of simple, satisfying dinner recipes that can be prepared quickly when you return home from afternoon activities. Create accountability systems that support your continued success beyond the initial 30-day period. This might include finding a friend or family member who's interested in adopting similar practices, joining online communities focused on circadian health, or working with a healthcare provider who understands chronobiology. Social support dramatically increases the likelihood of maintaining healthy habits long-term. Address any remaining challenges or resistance from family members or social groups who may not understand your new eating pattern. Education about the scientific research supporting circadian eating often converts skeptics into supporters, especially when they observe your improved health and energy. Many seniors find that their adoption of circadian eating inspires others in their social circle to make similar changes. Plan for upcoming holidays, travel, and special events that might disrupt your eating schedule. Develop strategies for maintaining your basic meal timing while still participating in important social occasions. Remember that occasional circadian disruption won't undo the benefits you've gained, especially when you return to optimal timing quickly after special events. Establish long-term health monitoring to track the benefits of your circadian eating pattern. This might include regular checkups with your healthcare provider to monitor blood sugar, cardiovascular health, and cognitive function, or simply keeping a journal of energy levels, sleep quality, and overall well-being. Documenting these improvements provides motivation to maintain your healthy habits and evidence to share with others who might benefit from similar changes. By day 30, circadian eating should feel natural and sustainable, rather than restrictive or difficult. Your body will have remembered its evolutionary eating rhythm, your social life will have adapted to accommodate your health priorities, and you'll have established the foundation for decades of vibrant, healthy aging. This isn't the end of your transformation. It's the beginning of a new chapter where you're working with your biology rather than against it. The choice before you isn't complicated, but it will determine whether you experience the vibrant, healthy aging of the world's longest-lived populations or join the millions of Western seniors who unknowingly accelerate their aging with every mistimed meal. You now possess knowledge that most people will never discover. The secret to longevity isn't hidden in expensive supplements, revolutionary medical treatments, or exotic superfoods, but in the simple practice of eating when your body's designed to receive food and fasting when it needs to rest and repair. The centenarians of Sardinia, Ikaria, Okinawa, and the other blue zones didn't stumble upon their remarkable longevity by accident. They preserved ancient wisdom about living in harmony with natural biological rhythms that modern science is only now beginning to understand and validate. Their practice of consuming substantial meals during daylight hours while eating lightly in the evening isn't cultural tradition, it's biological wisdom that has enabled them to maintain health and vitality well beyond what Western societies consider possible. Your body contains the same circadian clocks, the same metabolic machinery, and the same longevity potential as these remarkable populations. The difference isn't genetics, geography, or access to special foods, but simply the timing of when you nourish your body. When you eat in harmony with your circadian rhythms, you activate biological processes that slow aging, prevent disease, and maintain the physical and cognitive vitality that makes extended lifespan truly worthwhile. The transformation that awaits you extends far beyond the physical improvements you'll notice within days of adopting circadian eating patterns. Yes, you'll experience better sleep, increased energy, improved mental clarity, and effortless weight management. But the deeper change involves reclaiming control over your aging process. Instead of passively accepting decline as inevitable, you'll be actively supporting the biological mechanisms that determine how quickly you age and how long you remain healthy and independent. The 3 golden rules that will guide your transformation are elegantly simple yet profoundly powerful in their effects. First, eat your largest meal when your metabolic fire burns brightest, between noon and 2 p.m., when your body can most efficiently process nutrients for energy rather than storage. Second, consume substantial nutrition in the morning when your hormones are optimized for fuel utilization and your brain needs steady glucose for peak cognitive function. Third, eat lightly in the evening when your metabolism naturally slows and your body prepares for the overnight fasting period essential for cellular repair and longevity. These aren't arbitrary dietary rules, but a return to the natural eating rhythm that your DNA has been programmed to expect over millions of years of human evolution. Fighting against this rhythm is like swimming against a biological tsunami that grows stronger with each passing year, while aligning with it feels effortless and natural once your circadian clocks reset to their optimal function. The 30-day transformation plan outlined in this program isn't the end of your journey, but the beginning of a new chapter where you work with your biology rather than against it. The initial adjustment period requires commitment and planning, but within weeks this pattern becomes as automatic as your previous destructive habits, except now you're supporting longevity and vitality rather than accelerating aging and disease. The social challenges you'll encounter are temporary obstacles that dissolve as your health improvements become obvious to friends and family. Most resistance comes from people who unconsciously recognize that your changes highlight their own destructive patterns, but your visible transformation often inspires others to adopt similar practices. You become a living example of what's possible when ancient wisdom meets modern understanding. The scientific evidence supporting circadian eating for longevity isn't theoretical speculation, but hard data from the world's most prestigious research institutions. Study after study confirms that meal timing is often more predictive of health outcomes than food choices themselves, with properly timed eating reducing risks of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, cognitive decline, and overall mortality by percentages that exceed most medical interventions. Your success doesn't require perfection, but consistency and commitment to the basic principles that have supported human health for millennia. Occasional deviations for special occasions won't undermine your progress, especially when you maintain your foundational eating rhythm the majority of the time. The key is viewing this as a permanent lifestyle change rather than a temporary diet, because the benefits compound over time to create the kind of healthy aging that most people only dream about. The economic benefits of optimal meal timing extend far beyond personal health improvements to reduced healthcare costs, decreased medication needs, and maintain independence that allows you to live on your own terms rather than becoming dependent on expensive medical care or assisted living facilities. When you invest in circadian eating now, you're purchasing decades of additional healthy years at virtually no cost. Perhaps most importantly, the quality of life improvements you'll experience make the effort worthwhile even if longevity weren't a factor. The mental clarity, emotional stability, physical energy, and overall sense of well-being that come from eating in harmony with your biological rhythms transform not just your health, but your entire life experience. You'll feel more like your younger self than you have in years, with the wisdom and perspective that come with age, but without the physical and cognitive decline that Western culture considers inevitable. The clock is indeed ticking, but for the first time in your life, you can make it work in your favor rather than against you. Every properly timed meal supports the biological processes that keep you young and healthy, while every mistimed meal accelerates the aging you're trying to prevent. The choice is yours, and the time to act is now. The centenarians of the Blue Zones are waiting to welcome you into their ranks. Not as a visitor, but as someone who has reclaimed the biological wisdom that makes their extraordinary longevity possible. Your journey to vibrant aging begins with your very next meal, timed according to the rhythms that have supported human health for countless generations. The secret to living well past 100 with health and vitality intact isn't a secret anymore. It's a choice that only you can make.